Hi everybody, welcome to this special promo video for Chaosium Con. I am here with Lynne Hardy, the Associate Editor for Call of Cthulhu and the Line Editor for Rivers of London. We are going to be talking about all the exciting things that are coming to Chaosium Con from a Rivers of London perspective. Thank you for joining us, Lynne.
Thank you for having me. Morning, everyone.
Fantastic. So I'm going to start off, jump right in. You're running a game of Rivers of London at Chaosium Con. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Can you hype us up a little bit? What can fans expect to see?
Right. Well, it's a scenario for 2 to 4 investigators, because the idea behind Rivers of London is that you're part of a small team, because obviously if you're doing police procedurals, there's a limited amount that people can do within that. So we don't want big investigator parties. Excuse me. So the scenario is set in London. As this is really the first time Rivers of London is appearing at a games convention in its full form, with its fully tested rules and everything, I wanted to have a specific convention scenario that's not one of the ones in the books, because we want people to go out and enjoy those and discover them for themselves. So it needed to be set in London, and it needed to have the investigators as part of the folly, because that's the core premise of the game, that you are human investigators who are a part of the folly, investigating weird bollocks, as Inspector Sewell would put it, in London. So that was it. So I did my usual. I went out, I investigated weird things in London to build this bespoke scenario round, because I like to have a new convention scenario every year for people, so that we're doing different things and hopefully having fun with them.
That's really exciting. I know it's going to be great to have a unique scenario there so that people know they're still going to get something really great when they get the book. They won't have, spoiled any of the content for themselves, and they'll also have something they can pull forward. Just out of curiosity, is there a chance that we might see this scenario from the convention get taken forward and published down the line? Or at this stage, is it a special promo? You'll never get the chance, one and done.
Never say never. Because you never quite know, because there's quite a few of, quite a few. There's a couple of my Call of Cthulhu scenarios that were convention ones, have been adapted and published, or will be in the not too distant future. So at the moment, it's a unique one that will possibly only appear at Chaosium Con. But then again, it might appear at any convention I'm running Rivers at London at, just in case I don't get a chance to write another one. So you never know. You never can tell.
I'm going to drill more with some questions about the scenario itself. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about Rivers of London itself and ask some questions that we maybe haven't gone over in the regular chats we've had about Rivers of London and the development process on the Chaosium YouTube channel. Talking specifically about how Rivers of London fits into the convention space. How does it function as a convention game? Do you think it's particularly suited, more so than Call of Cthulhu? What kind of experience are the Chaosium Con players going to have?
Oh, now, I love Call of Cthulhu, and I'm not going to diss it. But I think getting a handle on the world is going to be easier. Because apart from the magic, it's actually slightly more mundane than Call of Cthulhu. You've got less sanity sucking horrors trying to eat your face off. So it's less deadly. It's slightly lighter hearted. Ben's books are full of humor. There's still grisly murders, because they're murder mysteries. And he has a subset of fans who love their grisly murders. So, there is going to be darkness in there, but there's also going to be humor. Character creation is really fast. It may even be that I have that as part of the demo. We'll see. I haven't made my mind up about that yet, because normally, obviously, we have pre-gens there ready to go. But character creation is very, very quick. And that's one of the things that we specifically worked on, so that you can come up with a character in 10 to 15 minutes.
That is really exciting. And I love the idea of being able to come through and have one of the first games of Rivers of London be, a character that I created at the table for that. That's so perfect. That's so cool. You've told me a little bit about the scenario, but for the benefit of everyone watching, can you tell us about it again? And can you share the amazing title, which literally made me do a double take when I heard it?
Yes, the title is The Goat Man is Coming. And it's all based around an urban myth from the 70s and 80s in London, around something called the Parkland Walk, which is a disused and reclaimed piece of railway between Finsbury Park and Alexandra Palace in London. And when I was trying to come up with an idea for the scenario, I did my usual. So I went to various websites and started looking for spooky things in London. And you get all these web pages which have these lists of like your top 10, your top 20, whatever. And there was one that particularly called out to me because I had an idea of what creature I would like to have involved. And then there was a thing called it's a statue called the Spriggan at a particular station, X station, along this walk. And I thought, oh, that sounds cool. What's one of those? And went into it and researched it. And as usually is the case with these things, where I ended up was not where I thought I was going to end up. And it was all the other things that I found out when I was researching the Parkland Walk, and then discovered this urban myth. And apparently Stephen King even wrote a story based around this same area at some point in the 70s, I think 70s or 80s. So it's one of these weird, interesting places. And that's probably all I can say really without spoiling it.
That's great. And so interesting that Stephen King has written about something there. That's really cool. All right. Well, we won't pry any deeper because we don't want to spoil anything as well. But can I just get you to talk a little bit about your kind of, I mean, this is really a video that is trying to hype up the convention and hype up how fun it is going to be. Can you talk a little bit about your convention prestige? Because as you previously mentioned, a lot of your great Cthulhu scenarios started out at conventions. You're obviously somebody who has a lot of experience with them. Are you excited about Chaosium Con to be able to bring that there, and having been to cons all over the world, from America to Iceland, I believe, several times as well?
Finland. I was very, very lucky to go to Finland. That was amazing. RoboCon was fantastic.
Yes, exactly. Well, what excites you about Chaosium Con, considering that, apart from obviously you work for the company, but considering that you've been everywhere in the world, you've seen everything that all the great cons have to offer. Yeah.
Oh well, I think it's the fact that it's going to be very much like the old. It's Continuum now. It was Convulsion originally, because the first games convention I went to was Convulsion in Leicester, more years ago than I'm going to admit to now. And that was very much Chaosium themed. It was, all centered around RuneQuest and Call of Cthulhu. And that was really a fantastic experience. So I'm hoping that Chaosium Con captures some of that, with it having that specific focus on Chaosium's games. Obviously, it's a great chance to get to meet up with friends I haven't seen for a while, my colleagues, meet people that I've corresponded with on various social media platforms, but never actually met in person. And you always get an amazing buzz at conventions because everybody's free for those few days, that their focus is on the gaming. There's no outside distractions, and you can get some really intense and amazing gaming experiences there, because everybody's on, trying to give their best performance, that give their all to the games. So it's usually really high energy and exhausting, but great fun. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, is the opportunity to be back at a convention running games face to face, because it's going to be, by the time I get to Chaosium Con, 2.5 years since I last had the opportunity to do that.
It's coming back in a big way, and I know everyone's going to be excited to get there. Any last thing you'd like to say to everybody before you see them at Chaosium Con?
Oh, stay safe, enjoy your gaming. And if you haven't got tickets booked, and you feel safe to travel, then by all means, we'd love to see you.